If you enjoy our show, please consider contributing to the Dark and Stormy Patreon. By becoming a patron, you will help us create better and quality content. There are also benefits to becoming a patron, such as exclusive content and Dark and Stormy merchandise. Become a supporter at patreon.com/darkandstormybc. Check our website for the link. We appreciate any and all contributions. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to episode 144 of Dark and Stormy Book Club. Backed by popular demand, we have another installment of what we are reading. We are going to start out with Anne.
Death, Diamonds, and Deception by friend of the show, Rosemary Simpson. It is number 5 in the Gilded Age mystery series. Star Prudence Mackenzie and her partner, Jeffrey Hunter.
He was a Pinkerton.
Yes, he was an ex-Pinkerton agent.
Oh, yeah.
In this episode, Prudence and Jeffrey have started their own detective agency. They are working together. Well, lo and behold, Prudence's aunt, she is the Viscountess Gillian Reardon, arrives from England. She is going to take Prudence under her wing and find her a suitable husband.
Oh, I thought Jeffrey was the suitable husband. Or going to be.
No, he is not in that class. She likes him, but he's not quite up to snuff. When she comes for a visit, they go to a ball where Prudence is going to be whisked around.
So kind of like a coming out?
Well, sort of. It was just a upper echelon ball. Well, this friend of theirs, the Viscountess, goes over to say hello to her, and she has this fabulous diamond. It was called a waterfall necklace. Well, it was all diamonds. Well, when Lady Reardon goes over to kiss her on the cheek, she comes back and says to Prudence, most of those are fake. She said she could tell when she bent over to kiss her, she blew on the necklace and some of them fogged up. Well, real diamonds
don't fog up.
They don't fog up.
And so, she noticed this.
She noticed
She counted how many fogged up.
Right from the get-go.
That doesn't sound suspicious.
No. She gets Prudence into the investigation of what happened to this necklace. Of course, Prudence is ready to go. They track down where the diamonds come from, and the person who had set the diamonds is set upon and murdered. This story, it's just one event after another. It's very well done. This is a really good series. It's very enjoyable. Rosemary has done a good job. Rosemary Simpson is an author best known for writing her series of historical and contemporary romance mysteries set in New York City. She was born in New York and from a very early age was introduced to a wanderlust inherent in her family. Her website is RosemarySimpsonBooks.com.
Well, I remember when we read the book to prepare for the interview with Rosemary, and it was very enjoyable.
Which was called What the Dead Leave Behind.
Yes, that's right.
It was excellent.
Well, I'm going to be adding this to my to-be-read list because I kind of forgot about that series. And I'm glad you reviewed that because it kind of brought it to the forefront of my brain again.
Yes. Highly recommended series.
I read All the Devils Are Here, which is Chief Inspector Armand Gamache, number 16, written by Louise Penny, and I listened to this on audio, so it was narrated by Robert Bathurst, was put out by Macmillan Audio, came out on September 1st of 2020. Chief Inspector Armand Gamache and his wife Reine Marie are visiting their children's families, both of whom live in Paris. After their first dinner together, Armand's godfather, 93-year-old billionaire Stephen Horowitz, is run down on the street and critically injured. Armand is sure the attack was deliberate, so he informs his acquaintance, Chief of Police Claude Dussault. A body is then found in Stephen's apartment with evidence that leads Armand to suspect that he cannot trust the Paris police. Thus, he and his son-in-law, Jean-Guy Beauvoir, begin to investigate on their own. Former homicide detective Jean-Guy has left the Sûreté de Quebec and has entered private industry in Paris. While he feels unmoored in the corporate world, crime investigation comes naturally to him. When rumors of Stephen's collaboration with the Nazis during France's occupation make the Paris police less than enthusiastic about finding out who might have attacked him, Reine-Marie uses her skills as a research librarian to delve into Stephen's past. The chase leads the group through the City of Light while the secrets of both Stephen's past and Armand's past history with his son Daniel are revealed. The truth comes down to a race against time as the lives of Armand's family hang in the balance. There's just so much packed into all of Louise Penny's books. She is a wonderful author. To give you an idea how much I absolutely love this series, I only read the first installment, Still Life, just last year in June. Since then, I've read every single one, and we're up to number 16.
Wow.
Her books are very well done.
Yes. Louise Penny evokes such deep emotions for these characters that they become like family. While All the Devils Are Here focuses almost solely on Armand's immediate family, there are a plethora of recurring characters that live back in their home of Three Pines. It's a fictional village in Canada. I really missed all of these characters, especially foul-mouthed poet Ruth Zardo.
She's a great character.
Louise is a superb writer whose prose can be hauntingly beautiful or nail-bitingly intense, depending on the situation. Her descriptions can make you feel the bitter cold of a Canadian winter or yearn for the bucolic beauty and camaraderie of the village of Three Pines. As this series is very much character-driven, I recommend reading the series from the beginning to get to know and love all the characters. However, All the Devils Are Here can be read as a standalone. The narrator, Robert Bathurst, does a wonderful job. Louise Penny is the author of the #1 New York Times and Globe and Mail best-selling series of Chief Inspector Armand Gamache novels. She has won numerous awards, including a CWA Dagger and the Agatha Award 7 times, and was a finalist for the Edgar Award for Best Novel. In 2017, she received the Order of Canada for her contributions to Canadian culture. Louise lives in a small village south of Montreal. Her website is louisepenny.com.
I have not read that installment, but I'm definitely going to read it. I love her books.
Yes, she does an excellent job. Her character descriptions are up there with the very best.
Your statement about how they're like family rings so true. When I read one of her books, it is like going home again. It's like visiting with an aunt you haven't seen in a while, and you're like so excited to get to experience that again. Well, the book that I'm going to go over today is called Never Look Back. It's by Mary Burton. It came out on July 1st, 2020. It's the third in the Criminal Profiler series, and it's put out by Montlake Books. This book truly grabs you right away. The action starts from page 1. The protagonist, Melinda Shepard, is an agent for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. She has an interesting backstory. This was the third in the series, but luckily they went over what had happened to her. As a child, she was found on the side of the road by an officer who ended up adopting her. So she followed in her adopted father's footsteps and became an investigator herself. Well, in this case, there are women prostitutes that are coming up missing. She goes undercover to try to figure out what's happening to these women, and she very quickly almost becomes a victim of a serial killer who's stalking these women. She gets very frustrated, so she reaches out to Jared Ramsey. He is kind of a lone wolf investigator for the FBI to try to help her catch this person. Well, they very quickly realize that they not only have one serial killer they're dealing with, they have two. But they're not operating together. They just happen to have two serial killers on their hands.
Are they competing?
No, but towards the end, it all comes together. The whole situation is bringing up very painful memories for Melinda. She finds out that she has a connection to at least one of the serial killers. When I started reading this book, I didn't realize it was part of a series. I found out later on, but it really didn't matter. Mary did an excellent job of keeping it compartmentalized into that story and also bringing up things that had happened in Melinda's past. So it would have made a great standalone. I really would like to go back and read the other two. This book had some gruesome descriptions in it. There were some cutting off of body parts, shall we say. Those things don't bother me. I mean, it's a serial killer.
He's not picking daisies.
Yeah, he's not picking daisies. If those kind of things are triggers for you, you may want to skip this one. I know 2 serial killers in one town seem like a bit much, but Mary did an excellent job of keeping them separate. But towards the end of the book, like I said, they converge the two into a very thrilling conclusion. I did not see it coming. This book is actually considered a romantic suspense. That's the category it was listed under. But the romance didn't appear until late in the book, which is fine with me because I'm not a big romantic suspense fan. So I guess the other installments will include probably more of the romance.
Maybe they took a break.
Yeah. I ended up really enjoying this book and will definitely read more from Mary Burton. I actually do not have to wait because the next book is called Burn You Twice, and it came out in September. So she's writing these fairly quickly. This one came out in July and the next one came out in September. Mary Burton's website is maryburton.com, very easy. She writes full-time, and research is her favorite part of the day. That's interesting. I would think that some of that would be tedious, especially when you're researching serial killers.
I don't know. I think you could get wrapped up in that kind of research.
I guess. She is the co-editor of Deadly Southern Charm, a Lethal Ladies Mystery Anthology, and is hard at work on her next book.
I think she has been an author who has shown up on the mystery thriller scene not too long ago, and it seems like she's doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
My second book is another friend of the show, Anna Lee Huber. Her new book is called A Pretty Deceit. It is the 4th in her Verity Kent mystery series. We met Verity Kent last year. She was an agent during World War II, got into some pretty big scrapes. The war is over, and she and Sidney are trying to get their marriage back on track. He was dead for a long time, she thought. Of course, he showed up. She went through some pretty bad times thinking she was a widow.
I bet you that happened quite a bit back then because you didn't have internet.
But it was deliberate that he couldn't tell her.
He could not. They were both agents, and they both had their own cases they had to work on. He couldn't tell her because if she was captured, it would endanger his unit. She couldn't tell him what she was doing, same reason. Now the war is over. She and Sidney are rebuilding their lives. Well, she gets a phone call from her mother, who has never really accepted her life as what she has become. But she says, I need you to go visit your aunt. Her aunt is Lady Popham.
Popham?
Popham. Popham. She had a large manor house that during the war, the army conscripted to house soldiers. She is raising Cain, saying that they damaged many of her precious things, and she wants reparation from the government. She can't afford to make these repairs. Verity's mother asks her to go and check out the house. Well, she does, and she quite quickly finds out there's quite a bit to be fixed. It's not quite as bad as her aunt says it is. It's not Lady Popham's fault. Her husband went into debt. He took some of the pieces